computer is out, so that can only mean one thing. It is time for a reaction video. Hello, my lovely friend, it's Margaret. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I am going to be reacting real quick to the 2024 Goodreads Choice nominees for the YA Fantasy category. Y'all may remember that last year I read the top 10 YA fantasies, or most of them. There were a couple that I didn't talk about, but I read. I will probably reference that video a couple of times in this video, so it will be linked below if you want to have a look at what my thoughts were for last year. We are kind of going into the same situation that we had last year because I did not learn any lessons, so pray for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do have a few predictions based on what was on the top 20 list last year and what some of the most popular YA were for this year. So before I have seen the list, I just want to go over those with you really quick. The ones that I think are for sure going to be on the 2024 list are a lot of sequels for books that made it to the top 10 last year. So we have Reckless by Lauren Roberts. We have Wisteria by Adeline Grace. Probably going to have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black is definitely going to be on there. Also suspect that All This Twisted Glory by Tahara Mafi and Defiant by Brandon Sanderson are going to be on there. Not looking forward to either of those two for different reasons. And then finally, one that I'm pretty sure is going to be on the list because it's a YA fantasy and people have been talking about it non-stop recently, is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. So without further ado, because I don't have a lot of time, I'm getting this video in between appointments during my busy season at work, which yes, I understand that it is ironic that I'm wearing the exact same shirt that I used for the reaction video last time, but this is a very solid shirt to go see clients in. So let's get into the reactions. Let's go over them really quickly. I'm going to try and keep this nice and short for y'all. This is the first time that I am looking at these. I have specifically avoided any spoilers for what might be on this list because I wanted a real and raw reaction. All right, the Goodreads Choice Awards 2024. Opening round, November 12th through the 24th. All right, Goodreads Choice. We are going down to YA Fantasy. First off the bat, we have one of the ones that I knew was going to be on there. It's Wisteria by Adeline Grace. This has been a very, very popular YA series. I didn't dislike it last year. I just have a problem with it being a YA series because I don't feel like the YA audience was the intended audience based on what I've read from the first two books. The protagonist in the first book is 19 and turns 20 in the first book. That's not a YA age protagonist, and they tend to be pretty sticky with those ages if you really want to write for YA. That said, I really enjoyed the mystery aspect of the first book. I feel like this series, the author wanted to write a dark, like a sexy dark romance, and I wish she had just written adult so she could write that sexy dark romance that she wanted to write. I think a lot of my issues with this series, especially the first book, both books actually, would not be there had this been written for an adult audience, because there just are certain things I'm like, it's a little odd that we are including this in this way in a YA book. Another one that's on there, and this is one that I'm very interested in, is Immortal Dark by Tyjust Gurma. The reason that I was interested in this one is it's The Cruel Prince meets Ninth House, and it is a dark academia. I enjoy me some dark academia. Like, not everyone is a hit for me, but I do enjoy that. Also on this list is Defiant by Brandon Sanderson. I knew this was going to be on the list this year. Hold on, someone is being loud outside my window. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the one that takes it because Brandon dominates every category he is in. But Defiant, the fourth book in the Skyward Quartet, it's the final book, thank God. I knew this was going to be on here this year. I was relieved last year that it wasn't because it came out too late. And I was like, oh great, I have time to get caught up on the series, and guess what I didn't do? Yeah, I didn't get caught up on the series. It's fine. It's fine. Also on here we have Your Blood, My Bones. Thank God, we have a book that I have read. This is a tricky one to talk about. I read this for my Reading Swifty Authors blog, which I'll have linked down below in the description box if you want more of my thoughts on this one. I really enjoyed it until we got to the very end. And then Kelly did something that is an automatic 1 star for me personally. I gave her 3 stars on Goodreads because it is a really well-written book, and she shouldn't be punished for the fact that she did something that I absolutely despise when authors do. I'm getting along much better with The Whispering Dark. I think I'm going to enjoy that one a little bit more. If you like dark Peter Pan retellings, I think that this is a good one for you because It's good. It's really well written. The magic system is really interesting. It's a very spooky, creepy, gothic type book. We're dealing with family legacies. We're dealing with a poor tortured boy. We're dealing with a protagonist that just wants to escape this life. And like, there are just certain things that Kelly did in this that I was like, I'm really into this. I'm really into this, and I really want this to happen. And then she took it all away and broke my heart. I'm really glad to see this on here because Kelly is a really cool person and this book deserves to be on here. Oh, good. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, I'm getting excited here. So, All This Twisted Glory by Tahira Mafi is on here. This is another one that I had personal issues with certain things that she did. I just didn't like the pacing of book 2. Like, I absolutely adored this Woven Kingdom. It got 5 stars. It was one of my best books. And then book 2 ended up on one of my most disappointing books of the year list. The pacing was so off. I don't really want to get into it in this because you aren't here for spoilers. But if you want to know the tea on what made me upset about that book, again, video is down below in the description box. We have The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. I'm so excited. I've been meaning to get to this one. I was going to reread the entire first 4 books that come before it, but that didn't happen this year. We also have Of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chin. 18-year-old Ai Hui Ying dreams of becoming a world-class engineer like her father, but after a sudden murder, her life falls apart. Left with only a journal of her father's engineering secrets and a jade pendant snatched from the assassin, a heartbroken Ying follows the trail to the capital and the prestigious Engineers Guild. I can't read right now, but that's fine. A place that harbors her father's hidden past, determined to discover why anyone would threaten a man who ultimately chose a quiet life over fame and fortune. Man, there's probably a reason he chose that quiet life. I bet there was some stuff in Dad's past that you don't know about. That is a classic D&D type thing. This is going to be a fun one for me. Guys, is her brother. Is this a Mulan retelling? I am here for it. Disguised as her brother, Ying manages to infiltrate the guild's male-only apprenticeship trial with the help of an unlikely ally. Her father's renown placing a target firmly on her back. Ying must stay one step ahead of her fellow competitors, the jealous guild masters, and the killer hunting for her father's journal. And complicating everything is her increasingly tangled relationship with the prince, who may have a mysterious plans of his own. I love this. This is going to be fun. Okay, so this is going to be good. We also have Heartless Hunter by Kristen Sigarelli. This is like a witch falls in love, has to marry and falls in love with a witch hunter book, which I've read books like that before and enjoyed them. Like, I like the enemies to lovers trope. I like books where, like, people have to experience things outside of what they believe and their belief system gets shook. And it sounds like that's what's going to be happening for this boy. But she is a witch. She is specifically marrying or dating this person because he is a witch hunter to throw, like, the suspicion off of her, because witches aren't, you know, they're not looked on highly, they're not allowed, and she's been helping witches escape. Now, he is not interested in her at all because she just pretends to be a vapid, like, bimbo. So he is not really interested in her personally, but he does know that the ships that she or her family or something owns, they have been tracked down, like they've been linked to witches who've been escaping, so he wants to find out, like, how is she connected with that. We also have Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. I have made the choice not to read any of Isabel Ibanez's books, just based on feedback I heard about her first book, Woven in Moonlight. There are a lot of people in Latin and South America that felt that she did them a disservice and represented them very poorly and in harmful ways. So I'm not going to be reading that. I'm sure there are plenty of other people that will be reading it and will be talking about it, but I'm not. If this makes it to the top 10, I'm not reading it. We also have Dragon Fruit by Micaiah Lucier. Okay, so this is one of the ones that was on my predictions list that I wasn't sure was going to get in there. I know Micaiah Lucier likes her, like, dual point of view books. We've got our female protagonist, whose name I don't remember. Her family has been banished, and she has been given a chance through a dragon to potentially get her family back in the good graces of, I think it's her tribe or of her island. And then we also have, like, the prince of this island, whose mother is very, very ill, and he is looking for a way to heal her because she's the last in the line of matriarchal rulers, so he has to either marry someone or he has to find a way to help her live longer so he can find someone, I assume, to find someone to marry. So that sounds like that's going to be a fun thing because they're having to go off on an adventure together, and obviously it's a YA. There's going to be some feelings that are caught, and I love that kind of book. We also have The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. I haven't heard of this one. 3 girls, 1 supernatural killer on the loose. Zara Jones believes in magic because the alternative is too painful to consider, that her murdered sister is gone forever and there's nothing she can do about it. Rather than grieving and moving on, that seems like a healthy way to cope, Zara decides she will do whatever it takes to claw her sister back from the grave, even trading in the occult. Jude Wolfe may be the daughter of a billionaire, but she is also undeniably cursed. After a deal with a demon went horribly wrong, her soul has been slowly turning necrotic. This sounds fun. It's a miserable existence marred by pain, sickness, and monstrous things that taunt her in the night. Now she's a glimpse what's beyond the veil. Jude's desperate to find someone to undo the damage she's done to herself. Enter Emmer Boyd, an orphaned witch with a dark past and a deadly power, aka the solution to both Zara and Jude's problems. Although Emmer lives a hardscrabble life, she gives away her most valuable asset, her invocations, to women in desperate situations who are willing to sacrifice a piece of their soul in exchange for a scrap of power. Okay, so they're gonna have to go look for her, and then Emmer has the problem that all of her clients are turning up dead, and I'm guessing we're gonna have to figure out why they're dying. We also have Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. Once upon a time, Andrew had cut out his heart and given it to this boy, and he was very sure Thomas had no idea that Andrew would do anything for him, protect him, lie for him, kill for him. High school senior Andrew Perrault finds refuge in the twisted fairy tales that he writes for the only person who can ground him in reality, Thomas Rye, the boy with perpetually ink-stained hands and hair like autumn leaves. And with his twin sister, Dove, inexplicably keeping him at a cold distance upon their return to the Wickwood Academy, Andrew finds himself leaning on his friend even more. Okay, so sibling drama, but something strange is going on with Thomas. His abusive parents have mysteriously vanished, and he arrives at school with blood on his sleeve. Thomas won't say a word about it and shuts down whenever Andrew tries to ask him questions. Got some haunting. We're sketching monsters. Oh, so it sounds like Thomas's drawings have come to life and Andrew is trying to figure out what happened so no one else dies. This almost sounds like a weird fae fantasy version of the main relationship in If They Were Villains. Like, that's what this sounds like, if we were villains. Ooh, okay, we have Emily Varga's For She Is Wrath, a sweeping Pakistani romantic fantasy retelling of the Count of Monte Cristo. Oh, this should be fun, where one girl seeks revenge against those who betrayed her. I'm either going to love this or I'm going to hate it, because I've read the Count of Monte Cristo, and it worked for me, but it worked for me for very specific reasons. So we'll see how well, I still prefer the movie, though. The movie I like better, just because the way the ending goes. Framed for a crime she didn't commit, Danya counts down her days in prison until she can exact revenge on Mazen, the boy responsible for her downfall. We have a female rage book? That's gonna be fun. The boy she once loved and still can't forget. Oh, Emily Varga knows what oh, this is like taking the Count of Monte Cristo, and we are elevating it. We are taking it to the next level. This is everything that they would not have written when the original was. When she discovers a fellow prisoner may have the key to exacting that revenge, a stolen gem treasure. She comes back with dark magic and a new identity. Okay, so this is then we get into the regular part of the plot of Count of Monte Cristo. And then we have So Let Them Burn by Camila Cole. Whip smart and immersive, this Jamaican-inspired fantasy follows a God's blessed heroine who's forced to choose between saving her sister or protecting her homeland. That is a hard choice, honestly. I would also have a hard time with that. Baron Vincent can channel the power of the gods. 5 years ago, she used her divine magic to liberate her island from its enemies, the dragon-riding Langley Empire. But now at 17, Farron is all powered up with nowhere to fight. Okay, so it looks like they're trying to broker peace. They're trying to move forward. And so she goes to the peace summit because she's been so, instrumental in changing things for her people. And then her sister has the audacity to bond with one of these dragons of the Langley Empire. We also have Air by Saba Tahir. This is the nope, don't do that. Please don't do that. You're gonna refresh this. So now I have royally screwed this up. So let's just go down to Air and then I'll go back up to the top and fix what I broke. We have Air by Saba Tahir. I had a feeling that this one would be on here, but I wasn't sure about it because it did just come out. An orphan, an outcast, a prince, and a killer who will bring an empire to its knees. It sounds like we have 2 outcasts. Actually, we have 3 outcasts. 2 of them are criminals, 1 of them is a prince, and they are trying to work together towards let's see. Beloved storyteller Saba Tahir interweaves the lives of 3 young people as they grapple with power, treachery, love, and the devastating consequences of unchecked greed on a journey that may cost them their lives and their hearts, literally. I loved An Ember in the Ashes. I didn't finish it. I need to, but I'm scared of that last book. It terrifies me. We have Reckless on here by Lauren Roberts. I am not surprised at all to find this on here. I knew it was going to be on here. This is following the events of Powerless last year. We've got a main character who is powerless, hence the title, and she is trying to fake that she has powers because people do not trust people who do not have any powers whatsoever. She ends up in some sort of trials, and she ends up working with the princes, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on. Just know that this very much followed the events of Red Queen. I didn't have a bad time reading it. It wasn't the best book I'd ever read, but I did not have a bad time reading it. So I am looking forward to seeing how Reckless goes. Because, like, just that ending, she ended it in a way that made me go, oh, yes, this book is what I wanted Fourth Wing to be. I will be honest. This is what I wanted Fourth Wing to be. We also have Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. A girl with magic makes a risky bargain with a demon to be free of her monster's power in this young adult fantasy perfect for the fans of Enchantment of Ravens and House of Salt and Sorrows. I haven't read House of Salt and Sorrows, but I do love an Enchantment of Ravens. Yes, I know I said Sart instead of Salt. Forgive. It sounds like our Beauty and the Beast retelling, but our main character is both Beauty and the dad. She has powers, and powers, she considers herself a monster because she has powers. And, like, I assume we live in a society where no one likes powers, yada, yada, yada. She goes out into the forest. She's looking for a magical plant that will allow her to wish away her powers. Here's the thing. She gets caught by a demon while she is plucking this magical plant, and so she makes a pact with this demon to go to live with him for a year. I assume we are following the rest of the Beauty and the Beast plot from there, because that's what this sounds. This sounds like a Fae Beauty and the Beast. We also have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. It is the sequel to Divine Rivals. This was all the rage last year. Divine Rivals is a book that won. I don't know that Ruthless Vows will win this year, number one, because we're up against Brandon Sanderson, as you can see, and number two, because I haven't heard as much about Ruthless Vows, and I haven't heard that people like it as much, so I'm not sure if it's going to make it to the top 10, and if it does, I'm not sure if it will win. We are almost done here. I think I've got just a couple, yeah. Okay, we have The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste. I'm happy to see this on here. I had a feeling it might be because I have seen it quite a bit on social media. We are following a main character whose name I cannot remember. Her name is Venus, and she is able to make potions. Like, she's currently supplementing her family's income making love potions. Not supposed to do that. It's kind of illegal, but her family needs the money. And then her mom gets murdered, and someone comes to her and says, listen, I will help you find your mother's killer and exact justice if you will make me a potion that will allow me to like control the people in DC. This is more of a modern fantasy or an urban fantasy. We are dealing with politics, we're dealing with love. The fact that she is a witch, I believe, is kind of a metaphor for being in a minority or being oppressed. And so it sounds very interesting. I really like the author, like her presence on Twitter. I very much enjoy the author. I very much enjoy the author's sense of humor. So I'm very excited to see what this is going to be about. All right, the final one that we need to that we've got is The Darkness Within Us. This is the second book in the Shadows Between Us series. We are following Chrysantha Stathos. Okay, let me pull this up because I'm not going to read the synopsis for book 2 because I don't want to spoil people. Ah, yes. Alessandra is tired of being overlooked, but she has a plan to gain power. 1. Woo the Shadow King. 2. Marry him. 3. Kill him and take his kingdom for herself. I already like Alessandra, okay? No one knows the extent of the freshly crowned Shadow King's power. Some say he can command the shadows that swirl around him to do his bidding. Others say they can speak to him, whispering the thoughts of his enemies. Regardless, Alessandra knows what she deserves, and she's going to do everything within her power to get it. But Alessandra is not the only one trying to kill the king. As attempts on his life are made, she finds herself trying to keep him alive long enough for him to make her his queen, all while struggling not to lose her heart. After all, who better for a Shadow King than a cunning villainous queen? That's gonna be a good one. Also, I can enter a giveaway for a free Kindle copy of this book. I have read one book, but we are in a better position this year than we were last year, I feel, because I feel like I had a couple of series that I had to get caught up on, and in this case, I only need to get caught up on 2. I think my plan of attack from here is number 1, finishing the Brandon Sanderson that I need to read, and then I'm going to try and read the books that I know are going to make it to the top 10 and see about, getting all of that taken care of so that those are out of the way and I have time and room for the ones that I wasn't expecting. I feel like that's probably the best way to approach this. One of the sure shots is going to be frickin' Brandon Sanderson, who I love. I love his writing. I just hate myself. I'm feeling a lot less bad about this. If you are interested in a refresher of what I thought last year to get an idea of what I might think this year, I will put the video that for last year right up here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you like the vibes on this video and you want to, know when the video for the 2024 Goodreads Choice Awards comes out, I would hit that subscribe button right down here. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye! I just realized I forgot to give you guys an emoji to react to, so if you want an emoji to react to, hit me up with the trophy if you don't have any thoughts.